Welcome to Veterans in Transition, where we promote the veteran community. Each week we travel around the region highlighting veteran-related news, issues, and events. In this episode, we're at the Army-Navy Club in Arlington, Virginia for the 12th Annual Veterans in Business Conference. Also, we sat down with Virginia's Small Business Veteran of the Year. Headed north, we traveled to McVet, an organization that provides comprehensive services for homeless and other veterans in need. And later in the show, our business of the week. Did you know that veterans represent 6% of the total population of the United States? But 13.5% of all small businesses are veteran-owned. Celebrating its 12th anniversary, the annual Veterans in Business Conference was created by civic and business leaders in Northern Virginia to provide networking opportunities, training, and exposure to veterans who wish to grow their businesses. Veteran correspondent Catherine Roberts sat down with the president and CEO of Community Business Partnership.
So this event has been going on for 12 years. Tell us about how it's evolved from the first event now to the 12th.
We received a small little stipend from the state SBDC network, and they said, you have $250 in 3 weeks and we need a veterans event. And never wanted to shy away from a challenge. We said, no problem, we can do it. So we did. In a very short period of time, we put together a really robust little all-day conference. I think it ran from 9 to 3, something like that, and included lunch. And we had a sellout crowd. We had 55 people, and they were standing room only. And they kept saying, do this again, do this again. And so we listened, and it morphed from there. That was the only time we did it at our facility. We outgrew it. And so since then, every year it's been bigger and better. And in the last few years, we've held it here at this wonderful facility at Army-Navy Country Club. And everybody seems to enjoy it. And it's a very patriotic place to have it. And it's just been a wonderful, wonderful journey through those 12 years.
Tell us about the new funding program.
That's our latest big news. We've been working for years to try and get the certification from Treasury that would allow us to do more direct lending. We've done a little bit of lending throughout our history, but last fall we became certified as it's a Treasury designation, Certified Development Financial Institution. It was a big effort to get that. We're really proud of it, and it will allow us to access more funds that we can lend directly out to small business owners. If they're in business, thinking about starting a business, they've been in business for a while, we have lots of training, we have one-on-one counseling that can help them get certifications. We can connect them with resources that can help them get more into the government contracting. If they're looking to hire people, we can connect them with HR professionals. If they've got a legal issue, we can connect them with attorneys. So it's a lot of things that we can provide them in-house, plus we have a humongous referral network.
Tell us about one of your most memorable moments working with a small business veteran.
I believe it was 2 years ago that the individual volunteered to be our photographer for the day, and he was a disabled vet, had at least one prosthetic leg. He had arm injuries, had a lot of really tough physical injuries, and he was there walking around all day, using his hands, taking pictures, and he volunteered his services, and that really says something.
Is there anything else you'd like to add or a piece of advice you'd like our viewers to know?
You're not in it alone. You don't have to do all this. It's tough. It's a very tough journey. The attendees today heard from one of the keynote speakers about it is a tough journey, and there's a lot of things that if you'd known before, you maybe wouldn't have done it. There are resources out there. We have a lot where we are. We're connected to a lot of other resources through the state, through the federal government, just through the community itself. And so all they have to do is reach out, and we can help them through that journey.
The Virginia Small Business Development Center has named Patricia Frame, owner of Strategies for Human Resources, as the 2016 Small Business Veteran of the Year. For the past 30 years, Patricia's community involvement has focused on career development for veterans in transition.
I'm an Air Force veteran, and along the way I worked with a lot of small businesses and realized how much help they really need early on, especially in human resources. And so I set up my own company to do that, and I've done that for 2 decades. Working entirely with small businesses. And I work very often also on a pro bono basis with nonprofits, and my avocation is helping military veterans who are in transition. You as a veteran have to really think about, what do I want to do? What skills, what experiences did I have in the military that I want to continue to use? Are there dreams deferred from when I was in high school or college? Are there things that I love doing as a volunteer or in part-time jobs that I've held? What sorts of things do I want to do? But also have all your service education translated so that it goes into educational credits, because that will also tell you a lot about what's the civilian equivalent of what you've done, and it may give you some ideas. Education is critical to your future success. Our economy is changing. There's terrific opportunity, but whether what you want is to do something and you need some basic community college plus an apprenticeship type of thing, or you want to do something that really does require a college degree and some internships, get that education. Leverage your military education, but also leverage the GI Bill because it's a valuable benefit. You have to do that networking, learn yourself, and then translate that into opportunities. Veterans who go into business for themselves are the most successful businesses we have in the United States, especially in the small business world. Veterans who go to work for big companies, again, rapidly, very, very successful.
And now here's this week's business tip with Stacey Redmond.
Be an educator. When you're placed in a management role or a position of authority, your responsibilities extend far beyond the task at hand. You should be dedicated to serving your team, and one of the biggest ways you can do that is through education. When someone doesn't know the answer to a question or isn't sure how to proceed, it's not their fault. You should be the one to train them up. Leaders, coaches, and mentors owe it to their people to bring them along and show them the way. You're the boss for a reason, but don't let it go to your head.
Your digital identity. More and more of our daily activities are moving to the digital world. Our next veteran entrepreneur is making that process easier to identify who you are online in this Business of the Week.
I'm a third-generation soldier. I led a platoon of scouts and snipers in Iraq for 15 months back in 2006, 2007. ID.me is a digital identity network, but really what we're doing is we're issuing the digital equivalent of a driver's license so that once you've verified your identity online, you can take that same login with you across multiple different websites to very easily log in and prove that you're you. So our vision of the internet is that instead of managing over 100 different logins like most Americans do today, you could pick your login provider of choice, whether it's the Postal Service or Verizon or ID.me. And once you have a login that is not owned by an advertising company like Facebook or Google, you can very quickly log in and use that same login across all the different internet websites that you visit without having to create a new email password, answer questions about your mortgage history and things that organized criminals can do better than you can anyway. So really we just want to make the internet more usable. We think that the model for offline identity where state DMVs issue driver's licenses and you go through one painful experience and then it's very easy to prove who you are. That should be the model for the internet as well. You get credentialed one time and then it's very easy for you to prove who you are across multiple websites without creating a new login. When we first started, we noticed that military service members weren't able to get benefits online because retailers and nonprofits and government agencies had difficulty verifying that somebody actually had served in the military. And as we got farther into it, marketers said, you know, we can't offer subsidized price points online for students. We can't do it for AAA members. We can't do it for our corporate employee programs. We can't do it for AARP because we can't verify that any of those people are members of those groups either. And then President Obama had the National Strategy for Trusted Identities in Cyberspace, where the federal government was just failing at delivering valuable services online because they couldn't do it securely and they couldn't do it in a way where most people could figure out how to actually get access. And they said, look, like, it doesn't make any sense for all these federal agencies to be verifying identity over and over and over again. It should be that if you get credentialed at the VA, you can use that same login over at the IRS or Social Security or at agriculture for food stamps or to apply for Medicare, because they're all doing the same thing. They're verifying your identity, they're verifying your income. So it was this very discrete problem that impacted the military, which is a community that I came from, but it turned out that that problem was symptomatic of a much larger underlying disease, which affects an entire layer of the internet. And so our business morphed as we learned to now attack this problem and to really transform the way that the internet works when it comes to logins. And we're just closed a $19 million Series B, so we're fortunate to have venture capitalists who believe in that vision.